Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Christina and I'm a homesteading, homeschooling mama. Thanks for joining me today as I walk you through some of our meals that we did for the Pantry Challenge. I've got 3 other pantry videos posted so far for this year. I'll try to leave links for those below if that interests you, and let's get into it. You may recall that last week I made a turkey salad, and today I'm going to use some more of that turkey that was from the freezer along with some leftovers from last week. We have some kale, roasted carrots, some broccoli, as well as some zucchini that was in our freezer, some frozen beans that I had in there that just didn't get canned and I was in a hurry and things. And then we also have some cream of chicken soup that I'm going to go ahead and put in here. And I'll be spicing that up a little bit. Oh, look here, I forgot. I made some pie crusts. I forgot to take a video of that, but I just used the Betty Crocker recipe. And then we have our frozen turkey there. And I will be spicing it with the onion powder, salt, and pepper. And I will kind of leave a recipe below, but that's what it looks like all heated up on the stove there. And whenever you go to roll out your pie crust, you just want to make sure to have enough flour there. And if you have chilled your dough, you probably already know this, but if you've chilled your dough in the refrigerator, it's a lot easier to roll out. So I think I let it chill for, I think it just happened to be a couple hours, and then I set it out while I was heating up the ingredients that are going to go inside the pie. And then whenever it's time to take this and actually put it into the pie dish or the top of the pied shell, you're going to want to go ahead and just fold it over into fourths. And then that makes it easy to transport and then put back on top of the pie. We had a neighbor come and bring us a, what's it called? A Mardi Gras cake, a king's cake. That's what it is. That was so sweet of him. Our family enjoyed that. We'd never had one before. Have you had a king's cake? It was so good. It was the first time we'd had it, and it's a lot like a, I don't know, some like a breakfast Danish or something. I don't know. It was really yummy though, and we enjoyed it, and you know, the kids all fought over the little baby. So here I have 2 turkey pot pies. I made enough filling to have 2 of those. And I've got the bottom pie shell in there, I've got our filling in there, and then I'm just doing the top layer. And I know some people do really beautiful things, but I'm in a hurry today and I'm all about function, so I'm just doing a quick pinch around the side, and then I poke the top a little bit to give it an opportunity to vent, because if you don't poke the top so that it can vent, then you're going to end up busting a seam on the side of your pie, and you'll have some things oozing out that way. So it's better for the steam to come out of the top than out of the sides. And I have these little rings that you can put on top to keep your crusts from burning. I always put a cookie sheet or something in there too, in case it does boil over any. We served this with mashed potatoes, corn, then we had our turkey pot pie and beet pickled eggs, and it was more than enough. The 2 pot pies, we had leftovers for a couple days, some of us, so it was plenty of food for our crew. My husband's the breakfast man on weekends. He's amazing. He made us some McGriddle inspired sandwiches, so he'll take the pancakes and as he's making them, put some syrup into it and then serve it like a sandwich with eggs and cheese. So he made that for us this weekend for breakfast, and it was pretty good. We don't feel like having eggs on a pantry challenge type thing. Sometimes we make oatmeal. We probably have it about once a week, and today I am frying some apples with cinnamon and sugar, and then I will add the wet and dry ingredients for the oatmeal to just finish off this recipe. Many times when I make oatmeal, I do half milk and half water for the liquids. I just like the extra nutrients that milk gives, but I think it's more likely to scald if it is 100% milk. So first I did the milk, and then the water looks cloudy because I didn't really wash the container right. And I always goof up and add the vanilla in with the wet ingredients, but I think really it's better to add it at the end. And then the oats, and I just make it per the package directions for that. And for the sweetener for today, I am using some honey. It was okay, but I think in the future I'm just going to use plain sugar or brown sugar. I think it was just too strong of a honey flavor. Okay, time for dinner. We are putting in the Instant Pot this early morning a beef roast. I have in there, we've already got our roast. I normally would sear it, but I am in a hurry because I've got to get out the door today. So I did not do that this time, and I'm just adding some different things for flavor. I'm adding some pepperoncini juice, kind of like what you might do for a Mississippi roast. I'm also adding another bag of those frozen green beans that I didn't realize I'd had in there for so long. So we are adding those, as well as some chopped up potatoes. I'm also looking in our fridge at things that need used up, and I see this bottle of Italian dressing. So I did some Italian dressing in there for flavor, as well as some water to make sure there's enough liquids for all of this to come to pressure. So I'm just going to go ahead and cook this on high. I'm just using whatever poundage I had for the meat, whatever that needs to be to go from frozen to cooked. And then this is what it looks like at dinner time. My Instant Pot will just keep it nice and warm. For dessert tonight, we are making tapioca per my son's request. And the nice thing about this is it uses so many eggs. And I just love that because right now our girls are good to us and we have more eggs than we need. And then of course I've got little Rosalie here, and she's always helping me, and I'm so thankful for it. And she's going to be a good little cook one day because she always loves to pitch in. So yeah, she's wanting to crack that egg. So for the tapioca, we'll be using 2 eggs, 5½ cups of milk, 2/3 cup of sugar, 6 tablespoons of minute tapioca, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This is a nice one to have in your pantry because it does use ingredients that our family typically has on hand aside from the tapioca itself. So what you want to do is just heat this up on the stove until it comes to a full boil. That's the kind of boil that does not stop while you are stirring it. It's still going to keep boiling. And then once it gets to that point, you need to go ahead and remove it from heat and then stir in your vanilla, and you need to let it set or cool for about 20 minutes. Directions also note that for a creamier pudding, you will want to put plastic wrap over the top of it. I just use a lid. I don't know if you use plastic wrap. Tell me, does it make that much of a difference? I think it was pretty creamy and delicious. I am excited to try a new bread today. I came across this blue cheese and olive bread recipe for my bread machine, and I don't have blue cheese, and I know that that definitely packs a big flavor, but I did have olives, and I do like the idea of using up the olives that are in my refrigerator because it's just not something I think about using. So I am surprised, first of all, that this recipe calls for white wine in it. I do think it made for a delicious texture. But going back to the olives, my friend growing up in high school, he was from Venezuela, and I remember him bringing some pan de jamon. It was ham bread, and it had olives in it, and it was like a mind-blowing experience for my high school mind. It was just so delicious and amazing, and I was really excited to try this bread. I do think that in the future, if I have ham, I may try to chop some up, especially if it's like the thinner lunch meat type ham. I will chop it up and throw it in here with this recipe because I really do think I missed that a little bit, but the olive flavor was delicious. And instead of using blue cheese, I used mozzarella, which is so not the same, but you know, it was cheese and we all like cheese, right? For this recipe today, I am using all-purpose flour. I have not had much success using my freshly milled flour in the bread machine, but it's not something I've played with much. But for a quick bread, doing the all-purpose flour is very handy. Someone asked me what type of yeast I use in my bread machine recipes, and I use the Red Star Active Dry Yeast. I know they make bread machine yeast, but I have not used that. And I like putting all my ingredients in this container while it's outside of the bread machine because I'm clumsy and I spill, I get in a hurry. So it's really handy that you can just pick this up and set it down inside the machine for it to do its kneading and mixing and rise and bake and all that. When my machine signals that it's time for the mix-ins, I add the olives to it as well as the cheese. And you'll see that it's kneading here. And they're really big right now, but as it needs, it will break up some. So you want to see this bread? Here it is. Isn't she pretty? I was busy today doing our homeschooling stuff, and I didn't take a break to come and take out the paddle and shape the loaf and everything. So it's a little sloppy looking, but it's just as good, and I don't really care. And my family ate it, and we were fed, and we were happy. and it's just fun trying new things. So that makes me happy. And man cannot survive on bread alone, so God gave us potatoes. Just kidding, but really, potatoes are delicious, and when you're doing a pantry challenge and you've got tons of them in your cellar, you best use them as much as you can. So today we are having some red potatoes roasted on this sheet here with some oil and ranch seasoning, the kind that you would use to make a dressing. I'm just sprinkling that dry stuff on there, and we're gonna have some ranchy potatoes with some chicken tonight. I like roasting chicken and potatoes together because they can go in at the same time. I'm definitely a keep it simple, stupid kind of person sometimes. And today we are just seasoning this chicken with salt and pepper and paprika and throwing that bad boy in the oven. This is a smaller chicken that we butchered this summer. It's one that we did not want to sell just because it was, I don't know, it was just smaller than like what we try to tell our customers we're going to be within like a 5 to 7 pound range on our chickens, and this one was more like a 3-4 pound chicken. So this one we kept for ourselves, and it's just time to eat it. I don't normally like to have these ones because I like to roast a chicken for more than one meal, which is why we held off. And I had to step outside for a minute, and my guineas were being so noisy, but I wanted to come and spy on them, but they were camera shy. I'm so sorry, but they just they don't want to be seen right now. They don't mind to be heard, right? Okay, and I have to taste this bread. I am not one to necessarily wait to try bread because if it's nice and warm, I'm here for it. When using the 2-pound loaf from the bread machine, I take it out and I cut it in half, and then I flip them over on their sides and I cut pieces like that. Some people have really cool little guides to help you get like a beautiful, perfect slice, but I have not invested in that, and I'm okay. If you're a bread maker, have you purchased one of those little guides? I hear they're great. In realizing that our meal is pretty carb heavy, I thought I would go ahead and grab a light fruit to serve with it. I actually don't even care for cantaloupe myself, but my daughter was asking for some cantaloupe, so we got some at the store. So I'm slicing this up as well as some cucumber. There's another kid in the house that I don't think is going to like the cantaloupe, so we are going to have some cucumber too. So it's nice to have some choices there on the table. I don't know if you heard in a previous video, but I do like half of our plate to be fruits and vegetables per the My Plate recommendation. I think it just helps to encourage the children and the adults in the house, but mostly those with the growing bodies and minds. I like them to have just the wide variety of nutrients that are accessible through fruits and vegetables. So I try to do fruits and vegetables on their plate with every meal. So yeah, everybody sets their own rules for Pantry Challenge and what they want to do and what they're most comfortable with. My goal with the Pantry Challenge is to use up as much as possible from our freezers first, then our pantry. So that's what you see me working with most of the time. But I also do purchase dairy products as well as our fresh fruits and vegetables. I don't feel like I spend too much. Right now we're buying for 6 people, and I think the last time I went to the grocery store to get our fruits and vegetables and dairy, I think I spent maybe $60 or so, and that'll last like a week and a half, 2 weeks. All right, and here we go. We've got our taters and our chicken, and then our Valentine's Day decorations, and cucumber, and cantaloupe, and our delicious bread. All right, so for tonight, for dessert, because we like sweets, we are having peach cobbler. Someone gave us tons of these peach fruit cups, and my kids don't really like them. It seems as if they were not picked at their, peak. They were not perfection. They are a little bit hard for peaches, but they still taste good. The flavor's fine, but the peaches are firm. Weird. So when life gives you firm peaches, make peach cobbler. Again, I'll leave the recipe down below for you, but I'm taking melted butter, adding to it self-rising flour, sugar, and cinnamon. Once that's mixed up, you put about half on the bottom of the dish, put all the peaches on top, add the other half, and then put on top of that some melted butter. And here's what she looks like coming out of the oven. I may have put it on broil a little bit to brown it up, but it's warm, bubbly, and delicious. If you've got ice cream in your freezer, do it. Put the ice cream with it. It would be amazing. We didn't have ice cream. We just ate it like this, and it did not disappoint. Our breakfasts look a lot like this. What kind of bread do we have laying around? That's what we're going to make a sandwich out of with some eggs and cheese. We've been doing that a lot lately. It's not very exciting, but at least we're mixing up the bread a little bit. In all the busyness of life, I forgot to record some of the meals, but I did get this lovely shot of our chickens chasing me around, so that's fun. All right, another morning. We've got some bread and cantaloupe for breakfast for my youngest, and others had eggs too, but that's enough for her. Okay, friends, that's what I've got to share with you this week. Please check back in with me because there is definitely more to come. Bye.